What is going on, YouTube? Joe here with Culination Media, and welcome back for another episode of Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire Battle Spot Live Inverse Edition. This is episode number 6. This will be the third and final time that we are using this team here, and I hit challenge because I figured it was going to take a long time, and here we go. We already found an opponent against somebody from New Hampshire. I love New Hampshire. It's a beautiful state. But for those of you that are unaware what we are running here, we have our Choice Banded Scyther, Choice Scarf Braviary, Mega Ampharos. It's an all-out attacking set, Agility Life Orb, Sheer Force for Alligator, Thick Club, all-out attacking Marowak, and physically defensive Avalugg with a Rocky Helmet. Now, you probably noticed already, but this is one wacky team. Ash here has 2 Pokemon at level 50 and a level 9 Ralts, a level 15 Timber, a level 11 Scyther, and a level 34 Kecleon. I'm assuming that the Deden and the, or Dedenne, however you want to say it, and the Gligar are both coming, and then he's going to bring one of those lower leveled Pokemon. Unfortunately, it doesn't work both ways, so if you're over level 50, it'll level you down, but if you're below level 50, it won't level you up. It does do that in Wi-Fi matches, but not on Battle Spot, unfortunately. So he is going to lead off with the Gligar, as I'm leading off with Marowak, and I'm just going to knock off its Eviolites turn 1 here, and then we should be able to take it out with a Bonemerang the turn after, since that is super effective. So he's actually going to knock off my Thick Club and show off a Life Orb. Life Orb Gligar. Okay, so I should have just killed him with a Bonemerang there. But at least we get rid of the Life Orb, I guess. And now I'll go for Bonemerang to finish him off. And he's probably just going to go for Earthquake. No, he has Acrobatics. Wait a minute, you had a Life Orb. Why do you have Acrobatics? I'm going to guess that this person does not know what they're doing. Or I'm just getting, like, predicted. He predicted me to, you know, when he was breeding his Gligar, he predicted this fight to happen and predicted me to knock off his Life Orb. That's pretty crazy. Anyway, we take him out with a super effective Bonemerang, and he's going to go into his level 9 Ralts. What is this? What is this team? I don't understand. I legitimately don't understand. So I'm just going to kill it with a knockoff. I have no idea. All of his Pokemon are holding items, though, so he knows at least that much. It's not like he's completely new to battling. You knock off the leftovers. A level 9 Ralts with leftovers? Okay. This is getting interesting. He's going to go out into his shiny Dedenne, however you want to pronounce it, and go for the Retaliate, which is going to be at double power since something just died. Still is not enough to take out Marowak, and we're going to finish him off with a super effective knockoff. And yeah, that was an interesting battle. I mean, that had a Citrus Berry, which is actually a somewhat viable item on the little mouse guy. So yeah, that was interesting. That was a very, very quick first battle to start off this session. I'm assuming we're going to get 3 battles in today because, yeah, we're 3.5 minutes in and already completed the first battle. I'm pretty sure we were 10-3 coming into today's video, so we are 11-3 at the moment, and we will search for another battle and hopefully find one. And, you know, if not, I guess I can always edit this a little bit. I don't really like doing that. I'm not a fan of editing and, you know, chopping up the video as I go along. I don't mind editing it, you know, on either end, but, you know, just chopping it up just seems kind of silly to me. So we can hope that I find a battle somewhat soon. That was interesting. The Life Orb Gligar really threw me for a bit of a loop there. Life Orb with Acrobatics, and then the level 9 Ralts to make everything just infinitely better. But yeah, with leftovers. Oh my gosh, that was interesting. Come on, find a battle spot. You can do it. You can do it. Am I really gonna have to cut this? That's the downside to Inverse, is just the amount of time it takes to be able to find a battle, because I don't know, nobody goes on the Inverse ladder, I guess. I mean, it doesn't seem to matter when I record either. Like, if I record in the middle of the afternoon, it's like nobody's on. If I record at night, nobody's on. If I record, like, at, I don't know, in the morning sometime, doesn't matter. But we finally find a battle. If it takes that long again, I will cut it because I talked about nothing for like 2 minutes straight. So this is a pretty solid looking team here. He's got the Executor, so I can only assume that he knows what he's doing, because if I am recalling correctly, I think Executor has the most possible weaknesses that you can have in the game, and that's like 7 or 8, something like that. Probably 7. 8 seems ridiculous, but its typing is just absolutely god-awful. So, and it's slow on top of that, so I know Celebi has the same typing, but Celebi has much better stats, much better speed, access to things like Nasty Plot, Baton Pass, and it's just overall a lot more useful than Executor, which also explains the tier difference. But Executor has a pretty good ability in Harvest, and I'm assuming that's what this is going to be. I don't know if he's going to want to bring it, just because I do have Feraligatr and Ampharos, which can handle it relatively well as Marowak. Although, if he... I don't know if I can take a Psychic. No, I probably can take one Psychic. Marowak's relatively bulky. I'm actually going to lead off with the Marowak because it actually takes on a large portion of his team. I don't think that Alakazam can kill me with a Psychic. Marowak will take on the Snorlax relatively well before it sets up Curses. I don't think Greninja has anything to hit me with. And I can fire off a knockoff on the Infernape, which most likely won't be able to OHKO me either. So Marowak looks like a solid choice to lead off here. And so that's what I'm going to go with. So here we go. Finally getting into another battle. So that was like 7 minutes of nonsense, basically. And now we're going to have some real stuff happening. So he's going to lead off with the Greninja, and I'm fine with that. He's most likely going to go for a Dark Pulse, because I resist Scald and Hydro Pump and Ice Beam. And of course there's the chance that he is going to flinch me, and if he does, then I think I just lose Marowak, because this should be a 2-hit KO. And it is. He's going to show off the Life Orb, and we do not flinch, so that should be a dead Greninja. Because Greninja isn't super frail, but Marowak is just a powerhouse when he has the thick club still attached. Seems like every time I send Marowak out, it gets its thick club knocked off. It's been like a recurring theme. And he's going to go out to Scizor here. He's probably going to knock off, maybe? If he goes for knockoff, I might actually live that, so I'm kind of hoping he does. He should go for something like U-turn or Bullet Punch, but we'll have to see what he wants to do here. I mean, I may live any of them, I don't know. Marowak has pretty decent physical defense. I'm not invested in it, but yeah, he is going to go for the knockoff. I think I can live that, and I do with 6 HP. Our Thick Club is gone, so this is not going to do much, but it is some damage, of course. If only this wasn't inverse, because I am packing the Fire Punch, which is probably not the best coverage for inverse, to be honest. But it's just there. I didn't have another Marowak to use, and I wanted to use Marowak, so I brought this one. So at least we got some damage off on this Scizor. He's going to finish us off with a Bullet Punch here. Didn't really matter what he went for. Yeah, I mean, I guess he could have roosted there too, I suppose. Actually, no, that wouldn't do him any good because he outsped me. So he would always be taking damage. I mean, I guess he could just do that until I missed if I wanted to keep going for Bone Meringues, but that just seems kind of pointless. So he's just going to finish us off, and that was probably the better play. Now I have a couple of options here. I could go into Mega Ampharos and go for a Dragon Pulse, which should take out the Scizor, but I do outspeed Scizor with Winfrey, the Scyther, so I'm pretty sure that a Choice Banded U-turn will kill this thing. We are going to have to take a Bullet Punch, and that does so much damage because he gets a critical hit, which is really unfortunate. But we are going to be able to take out the Scizor and save Winfrey to hopefully be able to get off at least one more attack on something before he goes down. That really, really stinks. Hopefully that does not come into play later on. Yeah, I mean, I was going to have to take a somewhat powerful hit regardless. And I didn't really want to go into Ampharos because Bullet Punch was going to be super effective. So I felt like Scyther was the better play there. And I wouldn't be... I'd be probably around half if that critical hit did not happen. So I don't know. I don't know how much that's going to matter. His last Pokemon is Snorlax. And I don't know what this is going to be. Possibly Curselax? I'm very tempted to Volt Switch, predicting him to be a Curselax and just go for Curse turn 1 here. Because I want to be able to get off some physical damage. And if he is Curselax, he's probably also Resto Chesto. So if I can get Winfrey out here safely and then knock off his Chesto Berry, that'd be fantastic, because they usually do not carry Sleep Talk if they're Resto Chesto. They have Curse, Rest, Body Slam, Earthquake, usually. Either that or Crunch for Ghost types, depends. But yeah, I'm going to go for the Volt Switch here. And Mega Ampharos is actually outspeeding something, which is crazy. Mega Amphy almost always goes last. At least this particular one does, because I'm not invested in speed at all. But yeah, we're going to go into Winfrey here and hope that we don't die to a Body Slam. He does, in fact, go for the Curse, which kind of stinks, I guess. Just because he gets that boost in attack and defense. But I don't have to worry about getting paralyzed with Ampharos, and I don't even know that it'll be a 2-hit KO with Body Slam, to be honest. So I'm not too worried here. And now if he's Rest Hawk, I am in trouble. But I'm going to go for the knockoff, get rid of that Chesto Berry, which is indeed what he's carrying. And he also goes for Rest here, which means I am going to get a free switch back into Amphy. And then I can start firing off some Thunderbolts and such and see how much damage that does. Now, if this was not inverse, I could just smack him with a Focus Blast, and that's probably what that's probably what I would have done without going back into Winfrey and all that other stuff. But we gotta do what we gotta do here, basically. So Snorlax is gonna stay fast asleep. He does not reveal any Sleep Talk stuff, so he's gotta have Body Slam and Earthquake, I'm guessing, or Crunch, either or. That's what I'm expecting. So I guess we're just going to go for a Thunderbolt here. That is my most powerful attack. And so I'm going to go for it. That does a solid chunk. That's about 30%. I don't know if that's a 3-hit KO. I'm going to go for Thunderbolt again, as he is most likely just going to wake up and go for Rest here. I'm assuming. As, yeah, it doesn't look like that's going to kill him. So he's going to go for the Body Slam here. I'd have to get a very high damage roll to kill him, it looks like. So I think my better play is to Volt Switch here. So that is what I'm going to do. We'll go back into Winfrey if he has to rest here to have any chance. He absolutely has to rest, so he's not going to Body Slam. If he does, then I just go right back into Ampharos, and that'll be the game right there. But I still think I have a pretty good shot here, as he will rest. Looking at that damage from the Volt Switch, though, it looks like Thunderbolt would have killed. But it also looks like I got a really high damage roll on that. So, I don't know. Maybe I just judged that incorrectly. That's very possible. But, I don't know. We could just go for Aerial Aces here, basically, and just wait for him to kill me. Because that's what it's going to come down to. He's just going to... Yeah, I don't see any way of him winning this. I really do not, because I'm going to be able to get off 2 Aerial Aces. Eventually, I'm going to get a critical hit if he just wants to not kill me and just continually rest. And as soon as I get that critical hit, that'll be game over, essentially, because that's also going to bypass his defense boost. So it's going to do like 75%, if not a little bit more than that. So, yeah, this is just the long way, I suppose. I should have clicked Thunderbolt. That would have killed him. I guess I just misjudged that. I don't know. But he's going to stay fast asleep here. Another Aerial Ace. Looks like it's not going to kill, but apparently I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to like damage rolls and eyeballing that HP bar. It's a lot easier on Showdown when you can see the percentages. But I always eyeball things wrong. We barely miss out on the KO there, and he is going to finish Winfrey off with a Body Slam, but that is going to give me a free kill with Amphy coming back in, because we do outspeed the Snorlax. The Snorlax does not outspeed anything because he is a bulky, fat, slow sack of potatoes, basically. So we're going to get another win today. That is going to bring our record to 12-3 on the series, and it's been about 15 minutes, so I could end it here, but I'm not going to. I think I would like to get one more With my luck, it's going to be a really, like, stallish battle or something, and it's going to end up going, you know, to, like, 40 minutes or something crazy. But that's the risk I'm willing to take to add a bonus battle here. Because I feel like that first one, you know, it was, what, 2 minutes total? Because, well, maybe a little bit more than that. I don't know. It was just ridiculously short. It was funny, but it just didn't fulfill the need that I have to record Inverse right now. So we're going to go for another one. I would like to see Braviary do something. Braviary, can't talk. Braviary hasn't done anything since, like, the first episode, I think. Did it do anything last time? I don't remember. I feel like it didn't. Who knows, though? I can never remember anything. So we got somebody from Japan here. All right. I mean, I guess that's cool, I suppose. He's got a very Japan team with Mega Kangaskhan, Gengar, Serperior, Hippowdon, Porygon 2, and Carnivine. Carnivine is really cool to see. Everything else is standard.jpg for inverse battle spots. Nothing particularly exciting. That Porygon 2 is such a serious issue because I don't have any ghost types on my team to Shadow Ball it to death. Which means I'm going to have to bring Marowak just for the knockoff potential. People also tend to like to lead off with the Serperior and just Leaf Storm and try to just kill everything. Especially in Inverse when Grass is a much better typing offensively. So, yeah, Marowak should be able to take a Leaf Storm and Oko back with a Boomerang, so we can do that. I'm going to bring the Avalugg just because I have to. If I don't bring Avalugg, I'll have no way to deal with that Mega Kangaskhan. Now, he may see the Avalugg and decide not to bring it, but we shall see. Now, I'm tempted to bring Braviary, but I think I want to bring Ampharos just because if I don't, I have no way to deal with that Hippowdon. It's just going to 3-0 me because I won't be able to break it. I'm expecting it to be probably physically defensive. Most of them are. If it's specially defensive, that may mean that it could survive a Thunderbolt from Mega Ampharos, but we'll have to play it by ear and see what happens here, as my opponent is going to lead off with the Hippowdon, actually. I was kind of hoping it was going to be Serperior because that was going to give us at least a free hit off on something. Sandstorm doesn't bother Marowak, but we're going to have to switch regardless because Marowak is not going to beat this thing one-on-one. Like I said, I'm expecting it to be physically defensive. So, yeah, I mean, even if it's offensive or something, it's probably max HP, and I still don't think that a Boomerang is going to be a 2-hit KO. I don't know, though. I really don't know. Bottom line is, I'm going to switch Marowak out into Ampharos because that's a relatively safe switch for me, and he's actually going to go for the EQ, which is not very effective, and that did a lot of damage. Wow. That has to be offensive, because Ampharos, even before Mega Evolving, is quite bulky. That did almost half, I mean, with the Sandstorm, of course, but that did a lot. He didn't show, like, Life Orb or something. Is this Banded Hippowdon? He's going to switch out here. I wonder if this is Banded Hippowdon. He's going to go into his Gengar. I don't think that was necessarily the best play you could have made, because I'm pretty sure Gengar is just going to die here unless it's Focus Sash. I mean, of course, it could be Mega, too. I don't think it's going to take this from a modest Mega Ampharos. Nope, it's just dead. Okay, goodbye. Gengar is out of there, which that would have actually been a huge problem if I did not Oko it there. Really didn't have anything to handle it. I was going to have to take massive damage on something. So he's going to go into his Serperior here, and I could switch in Marowak. I don't know if I can take 2 Leaf Storms because my special defense is not the greatest, so I'm going to stay in here, and he's just going to finish me off, which is unfortunate because Ampharos would have been useful for my... actually, that probably was a bad play. I should have sacrificed Avalugg. That's not good. That's not good, so I respond with a misplay of my own. There was no reason to let Ampharos go down there because I don't need Avalugg to take on Hippowdon. I mean, it walls it essentially, but if he has Toxic or something, that's not going to go well for me, especially because I'm going to have to take extra damage on Marowak here. Yeah, that was not the optimal play on my part, but this Serperior actually has Reflect, so he's going to be able to take this Boomerang just barely. That's still almost killed. But, yeah, even with the Sandstorm, he's just going to survive with a tiny little sliver, which means I will have to take a +2 Leaf Storm here, which is unfortunate. It'll probably do about half, maybe even a little bit less than that, just because if he went for a Reflect, he might be a more defensive variant. It's possible. But I don't need to worry about going for another Boomerang and risking a miss here, so I'm just going to finish this thing off with a knockoff. As my opponent goes for the Leaf Storm, it does just under half. So yeah, this has to be like a bulkier variant of Superior. We'll get to see what his item is here. It turns out to be the Rocky Helmet. Yeah, I'm guessing that was defensive. So the whole thing was to have the Rocky Helmet and set up Reflect, and then use that to, you know, boost your special attack with Leaf Storm over and over again, I guess. So now he's going to go into his Hippowdon and set up the Sand again, which doesn't really bother me too much. But it might bother Avalugg, I suppose. This is going to come down to an Avalugg-Hippowdon, like, standoff, essentially. And I really need him to be banded, basically, because otherwise he could just continually slack off. He's going to go... He outspeeds me! He outspeeds me! And I have speed on this Marowak, too. Since when? Since when does Hippowdon outspeed anything? Is this max speed Jolly Hippowdon that we are witnessing right now? What was that? What is Hippowdon's base speed, just out of curiosity? It's base 47, and Marowak is 45. I'm not Jolly on Marowak, I am adamant, but max, not running max speed, I don't think. I'm running some speed. That's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Yeah, alright, enough of that. So we have Avalugg versus Hippowdon here. Judging by the damage that he just did, that is most definitely choice banded. Most definitely, because that did way too much. So I'm going to have to whittle him down with Earthquakes of my own here. Obviously, he resists Avalanche. The difference in base power is going to be... Wow, that did nothing. That did not... Oh, he still has a Reflect Up, that's why. Which just wears off this turn. I should have gone for another Recover there. But this is not going to end well for me, I don't think. What was I saying? Oh yeah, the difference in power between Earthquake and Avalanche is relatively negligible, because I get the boost in power when he's going for Earthquake, and I get Stab on Avalanche as well, but it's also resisted hit, so I think it turns out to be 90, and Earthquake is 100, so it doesn't really matter. It's all doing around the same amount, you know, with damage rolls and all that stuff. The downside here is that I do not have PP ups on this Avalugg, because this is a Pokemon that I bred a long time ago, and I had it just chilling in the box, and I just picked it up and went with it. I should have used PP ups on it, but I did not. So normally it's not engaging in PP wars, but I mean, I'm gonna have to hope for like a critical hit or something. Yeah, that's doing nothing even without the Reflect. And I'm going to run out of Recovers before he runs out of Earthquakes. Unless he also doesn't have PP ups. But the chances of that, it seems pretty slim to me, to be honest. But I guess we're going to find out here. I mean, of course, there's also the chance that he just scores a critical hit. And if he does, that's pretty much game over. At least from this range, it definitely is. I think I just died to a crit from there. But we shall see. Now, if he doesn't have PP ups, that is going to work out in my favor, unless he scores a critical hit at a very opportune time, of course. But we will have to see. He's taking a long time to think about his move. He's clearly choice banded. I don't know what you're waiting for. What are you doing? Just click Earthquake so we can see how this plays out. I'm expecting somebody to just get a critical hit, or I'm just going to run out of Recovers. And I'm not going to give up here. You're going to have to beat me. That's what it comes down to. I'm not going to forfeit. As he just goes for the Earthquake again, obviously brings me down to the red zone, 26 HP remaining, but we get off a Recover. This is a case where having leftovers over Rocky Helmet would have been way more beneficial too, because I wouldn't have to spam Recover as much. I would be able to get off an extra attack here or there. But, yeah, Earthquake is not a contact move, so It's a bit unfortunate. If he was going for, like, Ice Fang or something, I mean, I'd probably flinch every other turn, so I don't know how much that would help me. But the fact that he's Choice Banded also means that he's not getting any recovery. He clearly doesn't have the leftovers, and he can't go for Slack Off because even if he has it, he's locked into Earthquake. And he only used it one other time, I think. Like before Avalugg, right? He just used it on Ampharos? No, he used it on Marowak too. So he would have 8 more remaining if he did not have PP ups. Which, I mean, I guess that's a possibility. Not everybody uses PP ups, especially for Battle Spot, because it's rare for you to get into a PP war in a 3v3 environment. But that is just all nonsense that I'm spewing, basically. So I'm going to go for Recover again here, as obviously he goes for EQ. He's taken a really long time to think about his moves here, and now that I think about it, I'm starting to run out of Recovers. Or not starting to, I still have 5 left, which is half of the amount that I started with. I'll just click Avalanche this time, just so we can see a different animation. I mean, it might do a little bit less damage, possibly, but it doesn't really matter at this point. He's taken such a long time to think about his moves, and there's really nothing to think about because you're Choice Banded. You are locked into that move, my friend. So what he's doing here is he is being a jerk, and he is timer stalling. Because my guess is that he does not have PP ups on this thing. He's running out of Earthquakes. He's got to be down to like 2 maybe at this point. He's used quite a bit. I've used Recover 5 times. He used... I went for Earthquake 1 or 2 times. We're going to go for Avalanche this time. And then he used Earthquake 2 more times. 1 against Ampharos, 1 against Marowak. So he's running out of Earthquakes. He knows that that is not going to end too well for him, most likely, unless he pulls a critical hit at like the perfect time, which would be next turn before I go for a Recover. And so instead of just playing the battle to its end, like what we were doing before, where it was going really quick, we were choosing our moves. Now he's deciding to just timer stall to annoy me, try to get me to DC, or have to go, or have an internet problem, or just decide that I don't want to wait around for him to choose his move. So he's using the entire clock on purpose. Don't really agree with that. I thought you were really cool for having banded Hippowdon. That's something that you don't see. Everybody uses Hippowdon the same exact way. They're always defensive. I'm also guilty of this. I like defensive Hippowdon. It's fun to use. But yeah, it has decent offensive capabilities. So the fact that you're using a Choice Bandit set is really cool in my opinion, but the timer stalling when you know you're not going to pull out the win, or you think you might not, is not cool. That is not cool at all. I mean, I'm fine with it, especially if it means if we're going to see this Hippowdon struggle itself to death, and struggle's a contact move too. Oh, here it is. He's out. He's out. I knew it. I knew that's what it was. So now he's just going to kill himself with struggles. As I'm pretty sure that, yeah, it did make physical contact too, as I expected. So he's going to take the Rocky Helmet damage, and I went for Recover that time because I wasn't counting Earthquakes. I knew he had to be close. But yeah, now if he had PP ups, he most likely was going to win there because I only had 4 Recovers after that turn. So yeah. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. He probably would have won because I didn't have enough Recovers to match all of his Earthquakes. It's unfortunate that he wasn't able to pull a crit because he did attack me a lot of times. And he did not get a critical hit on any of them. But if you're the kind of guy that's just going to timer stall, you know, I don't really feel as bad for you. So what can I say? What can I say? So again, this is the last turn. This is the last turn, and he's taking the whole... What is it? Is it 60 seconds to choose your move? He's taking the whole minute. I strongly dislike it when people do this. It's been a long time since I've had this happen, which I guess is good because I do record Battle Spot a lot. So I guess that's something nice, but yeah, it's still a bit unfortunate when it does happen. So he's going to struggle, and then Hippowdon's going to go down. Yes. struggling itself to death. That's what I like to see. That's the third victory for us today. It's going to bring our record to 13-3 on the series, and that's also going to wrap up this mini session with this team. So next time we will be bringing a fresh new team, and I'll bring a new defensive Pokemon too, because the entirety of the Inverse Edition series for Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, of course, not X and Y included, Avalugg has been our defensive Pokemon. I'm going to throw something else on there. I don't know what it's going to be yet. I have a couple of things in mind, and a couple of things ready to go, so I'll just choose between one of them, basically. If you have any suggestions for Pokemon you would like to see on the series, feel free to leave that in the comment section, as always. But that's going to be it for this time. If you guys enjoyed, you can also leave a like. That also does help out a lot. I'd appreciate it when you guys do that, of course. And yeah, that's going to be it. So I will see you all next time. And until then, game on.